Ken Dorsey going to figure it out for us?
Well, listen, if he had a camera on him right now, not with what you just said, but what the Buffalo Bills did, I assume there's a lot of motion and a lot of antics and a lot of fiery Ken Dorsey, because we do remember down in Miami whenever they threw a ball into the dirt whenever they could have won the game, but they lost it. This is from last season. Ken Dorsey was caught on a little bit of a spy cam from CBS. Losing his shit. Yep. Now, there was people that said this is going to be a stain on him for the rest of his life. People were going to think, wow, this guy, a little fiery, threw a temper tantrum. He was on there like a child, like my teenage kid does. But I think what the players saw was a guy that cared.
Oh, yeah.
I think everybody that has been in the NFL was like, hey, that's just an emotional guy, loves his team, wants them to succeed, especially after Daboll left and he was being questioned about everything. Now here we sit, week 10 into his second year as the offense coordinator, and it's not good.
No.
That offense is terrible. Josh Allen has gotten much worse this year. Now, why? We don't know. His explosives last year and the years past since Stephon Diggs got on the team has been at the top of the league. So whenever he would throw it and turn the ball over, he would also be getting tuds and explosive and electricity and everything on the other side of it, so it kind of disguised itself. Now, no explosives, same turnovers. It's bad.
Yeah.
Also on his face, looks like he's not the same Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. He looks like Jared Goff used to look.
Yeah.
Jared Goff used to look this way, kind of a deer in the headlights, kind of lost, not inspired, not excited, not confident. I think all those things kind of happen with Goff. He gets to Detroit. Now, he's a killer, stone cold killer. You can see it on his face whenever he's playing. Josh Allen used to look like that. Now, it's a whole different Josh Allen, kind of lost in there. They're calling players-only offensive meetings. Mm-hmm. Latavius Murray, first year there, says, yeah, guys got to get some things off their chest. And then you hear Josh Allen give a motivational speech, and I don't know if it just so happened to be the motivational speech that he chose for that particular day, or if it's relevant to what the team's going through. He said, whatever's going on outside of here, leave it out there. Let's just play football. So I hear those two things, I think to myself, what the is going on in the Buffalo Bills locker room? And then you watch them play, and it's like, this team just doesn't feel like the teams of the past. We heard in the past, these guys used to stay in the facility for hours and hours and hours, playing cards and dominoes, and Boo Ray was obviously there. Gabe Davis told us that there's still a card game happening, but the vibes are not what it used to be. Feels like they're maybe not as tight. Then you got Trayvon Diggs putting out his tweets.
Man.
His brother, it is a nightmare in Buffalo. I assume we bet against them forever. One half of the hammer,
Dahn.
Cowboys telling Diggs. I said forever, but at least until they figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, there's teams that like throughout the season you put on a don't bet list. They have been added to that list because you don't know who they are. You don't know what you're going to get from them. I believe the Hammer Dahn boys were on the Broncos last night, so good for them. I don't know who they are, but pretty good gamblers.
I was as well, by the way. Plus 7.5. It was a tweet. We forgot to do it on the show.
Whoops.
So I apologize. And only took them because AJ took the Bills and I needed one to tie it up.
God happened.
But it felt like the right bet. I put a tweet out last night and said, I'm confused by Josh Allen. I'm so confused by it because he's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to have all the intangibles, the size, the speed, the competitive juices, the energy, the intelligence. He's supposed to be the prototype of what people are looking for. This guy's 6'5", whatever, can run, can take a hit. Yeah. The boys love him. His hand's gigantic, and he can throw it forever. And then we've seen over the years him make some dumb decisions at times, whether it's with his body taking a hit that he didn't need or a throw that he certainly didn't have to throw. But on the flip side, he was great. So we were able to kind of enjoy it and say, yeah, that's what I want on my team. Nobody wants this guy on their team now. What the hell has happened, Darius? And why do you think we're seeing this? Is it Ken Dorsey? Do we think that is what it was? And what is this potentially going to do for Josh Allen and the Bills the rest of the year?
It's definitely not all on Ken. I wouldn't say it's all on Josh either. Definitely a combination of the two. He had his best ball, obviously, when Stephon Diggs got there and Brian Daboll was calling plays and designing the whole, thing. So that's a part of this as well. We talked about it yesterday with quarterbacks having different voices and different philosophies, different play calling, all these different things. But, Josh, it's been his Achilles heel from the jump. You mentioned all the explosive plays and him being special, but just turning the ball over too much. The fumble. I don't know if that ball was slick last night, but the fumble, Cook had a few of them. He had one on the handoff. The turnovers, the first one went off Gabe Davis' hand, but the other one was just, unacceptable. And now you got to take care of the ball. I don't care how special you are as a talent. You have to take care of the football. And a lot of times you watch the tape, it doesn't seem like he has a bunch of answers pre-snap. Like he doesn't know where he's going with the ball, what the coverage is going to be. It's not designed like a Ben Johnson offense or a Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel. Like a lot of those are designed throwing windows to attack coverages.
Easy. I don't want to say easy, but easier.
Easier, yeah. And that's what you should have for your quarterback. Like the majority of their passes should be designed in easier throws, mental-wise at least. For him, it's like he almost has to be special, like a backyard type, run to his left, run to his right, make a great throw to dig. So too much of that. Offensive line could be better as well. Running game, I think, is the only bright spot consistently when they actually hand the ball off and the running backs take care of it.
Hey, Latavius did okay.
Oh, yeah.
I've been wondering why Latavius Murray's been taking reps away from James Cook, and then first play, and then another one.
Yeah.
Ball was on the ground. That first play fumble where they ripped it out of his hands, I mean, I think AJ said it when we were watching Oklahoma, Texas. He said, hey, all game here, Oklahoma's been the alphas.
Mm-hmm.
After the play, little shots. Who's staying on top of who a little bit longer,
Yep.
who's being a little bit more physical. First play of the game last night, they ripped the ball out of the damn guy's hands. It was Broncos, here we go. I felt good about Broncos plus 7.5. Hey, they showed up ready for this one. Now, obviously, they've been mocked and ridiculed all season long, this Denver Broncos defense, for giving up. We said it, I've already said it 3 times because it's such an anomaly. They give up 70 to a team, okay? And that is not something that happens in professional football. You can have a bad day and give up 50, and everybody's like, oh, 50 burger.
Yikes.
Whoa, 70? That's a Whopper, dude. That's not just a burger. That's quarter pounder. That is a half pounder. That's a lot of meat. That's a big ass beating. And it's that team has had to live with that.
Yeah.
So on prime time, first play of the game, they rip it out. I'm like, damn, okay, Broncos defense is back maybe. And then didn't see James Cook and then he showed him on the sideline, pacing back and forth. And I'm like, what's going through James Cook's mind?
Man.
What's happening there? But on the Bills, in the Bills defense, and maybe it's Ken Dorsey. We have no idea if it's McDermott or Ken Dorsey. You'd assume that'd be a head coach's decision.
Mm-hmm.
But on their side, it's he also did fumble. And Latavius Murray came in and started doing very well. I've seen football coaches make that decision before. Then another mishandle with James Cook later, it's maybe that's why I guess they haven't been playing him. But anytime he gets the ball, it seems like he does good stuff with it.
Oh, yeah.
Except for whenever he's fumbling, I guess. So I feel like they still have the pieces. Dahn Kincaid, big drop. Gabe Davis, big drop. Josh Allen really has it. Stephon Diggs, still a good player if he wants to be there. I mean,
it doesn't seem like it.
that's tough. Those tweets from Trayvon Diggs.
They've been on to
great.
something.
How about him saying yeah, Buddy sucks since my brother got there.
Yeah.
Until my
Don't
brother
forget.
got there. Let's 14 got to get up out of there, he said first. And then his next one was, let's not forget, just as this conversation's happening, he didn't start going off till bro got there. I assume he muted both of these tweets. I assume he muted both of them, was let me just drop this out there. And I'll just let them sort it out. And I won't even have to see it. But that's obviously a conversation that's going to be had today in the locker room. They got a lot of hard shit to deal with, it seems.
Yeah.
How do they get right? Do they get right? Or is this just what the Bills are? Because that AFC is stacked.
I mean, so they can get right. You mentioned they still have the talent. Now you got a new
Shakir.
OC. Joe Brady, I think, will be calling the plays now. He'll step in there as an OC. He was a former obviously LSU guy, and he got a shot in Carolina and got let go from there. So he'll have opportunity there. Middle of the season, you don't love that, obviously, especially when you come into the season expecting to be contenders. But if you look at the AFC, I mean, it's a lot of 4-5 and 5-5 teams. So if you go on a 3-game run here, which they can, you'll be in a great spot. We know how quick shit can change in the NFL, but I mean, I don't know what's going on. As you said it yesterday, something's going on in there.
Something's going on. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on.
It seems like it. We're obviously not in there, but you can look at the football, know these players. It's not like a bunch of new guys just thrown together. These guys have been around each other. We've had a lot of guys from that team on the show. It's weird vibes coming out of Buffalo.
It feels
right now.
like something happened in a locker room. Just as somebody who has been in a couple locker rooms where something has happened and it's like, all right, it's a different place now all of a sudden because somebody either has beef with somebody over something. Who knows? There's betrayal in there potentially.
Sure.
Who knows?
Certainly possible.
Something. I mean, there's something happening there. It feels like, and I think it's very obvious on the football field. But to your point about if you look at the AFC standings right now and the wild card, what that conversation is going to be, is like we talked before the season about how this is going to be the best Pac-12 that the Pac-12 has ever had. Okay, but the Pac-12 has to play each other all at the end of the season, so they're going to cannibalize each other. They're going to give each other a couple losses, probably. Now Oregon might be able to keep going. We have no idea. Washington, if they remain undefeated through this stretch, they have earned their way into the college football playoff. It's like the AFC is the same damn thing. AFC is not easy right now.
Tough.
Everybody's got to face their own. Now, the AFC East is garbage.
Yeah, terrible.
At this exact moment.
Sure.
Trash bag. But they could get better, all of them, because they all have the ability. Obviously, it's the NFL. But the AFC is going to beat the hell out of each other getting in there. So if the Bills can rattle off 4 or 5 wins, how you doing? Keep moving. That's why you also give, credence to the thought that maybe the Texans.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Texans could even go if they keep going. Here's the here's the Bills' remaining schedule. Got the Jets. That's going to be a tough one.
For sure.
That defense knows them. That's going to be tough. Eagles, well, okay, that's easy, right? Chiefs, simple. Absolutely easy.
Not good.
Cowboys, no problem. No problem at all. Chargers, fresh off a win.
That'll be nice.
People forget. Fresh, what's that?
No,
They got beat by the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Heartbreaking
Heartbreaker. They had a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they didn't. Then they lose it to the Lions. Patriots, terrible.
Well, Patriots are 1-0 against the Bills this year, but yep.
but
And then Dolphins, the only team in the AFC East that seemingly have a chance to win a Super Bowl with all pieces kind of humming right now.
Great bye week.
That is a tough run. That is a very difficult run. But you're right. Maybe they get some things back in order. I just think behind the scenes, they got to figure it out more so than anything. And with a new OC, maybe that'll help.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it certainly feels like Ken Dorsey was kind of the sacrificial lamb here. It's just like, hey, the sky's falling, everything's going to shit. Let's fire this guy and kind of just get a little heat off, maybe McDermott's plate. But we talk about it, like every time someone from the Bills comes on the show, like it's a big, like it's all about the vibes. Like those guys that like going into the season, they're so tight knit, like they all love being around each other. And when you watch them play, they're just like so lackadaisical, like devoid of energy. It seems like they don't give a shit out there. Like they turn it over and it's just kind of like that's the expectation. Like, oh, okay, well, here we go again. Like it's going to be just like it was last week. And if you are trying to like find yourself right now to push to get into the playoffs, like, are you going to do it on the road in Kansas City and on the road in Philadelphia? And then even the Chargers who can score, 40 points a game. Like it just, I don't know. You got to win the games you're supposed to win, and they haven't been. And now it's like they're getting into the meat of their schedule when everything is falling apart.
Go ahead.
No, to your point, like the turnovers, those kind of those suck the energy out of it. If your guy goes up and just Surtain goes up and make an unbelievable interception, like, all right, you jog off the field, you line up play. That out route he threw was so, like the cornerback had to stop and go back to pick it off. The fumble, ball just falls out of his hand. That's terrible. And then to end the game, I know Ken Dorsey got the axe today, but Sean McDermott's calling the defense. That's the head coach. You're the defensive coordinator, and you're in situations with field goal rush or whoever is. So you have 4 different field goal rush teams, right? You have your base one, and then you have a nickel field goal rush team. You have a dime field. So whatever defensive personnel package you have that field goal rush team for a situation like that when it's NASCAR and you're rushing it. Hey, everybody got to know where to line up. So when you have something like that happen with 12 people on the field, you essentially win the game, and then you go back and like, oh shit.
Week 10.
You cannot
Preseason
have that.
games, you see that.
You can't. Yeah.
Preseason games, you see it. Like guys rushing on the field, rushing off the field. It's normally a cluster in special teams in the preseason.
Yeah.
Like if you see teams that figure out, it's like, oh, they must have older guys at depth positions because normally it's rookies who don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
So they have no idea. They're playing special teams for the first time in their life. They forget they're on a team. They're on a team. They're not on a team. There could be 14 guys on the field, in preseason games. Week 10. This is happening.
Must win.
That is insane to think about that it's taking place up there. Feels like a much different outfit in Buffalo than we had seen over the last couple of years. Hopefully they're able to figure it out. Maybe they'll hire this guy. I know they gave Joe Brady the nod.